Hey guys, it's Vampire Mike from Sega CD Universe, and boy, this is a long time coming, but I finally beat the Space Adventure today. This is based off of an anime. I know I've spoken about it before. It's one of the rarest Sega CD games. Luckily, mine's in pretty good shape. There's a couple scratches, a couple weird little marks on top of the disc, nothing crazy, but I just finally beat the game after, it's got to be over a decade, because I had beaten Snatcher and Rise of the Dragon, and I loved both of them dearly. They're two of my favorite games on the system. And I really wanted this, and I wanted to complete the collection. This is probably when I was like, I'm going to say 18, 19 years old maybe. And I picked up all the Sega CD games. I bought all of them to make a complete collection, even though some of them are not complete. They're, just cases or no cases and just have discs. But that being said, this wasn't as good as neither of those games. It's not as good as Snatcher, both story-wise and game-wise, even though some people don't like Snatcher because it's kind of like an interactive visual novel. And Rise of the Dragon had way more in terms of puzzles and characters and stuff. So it's really not, it doesn't touch either of those, to be completely honest. This is running, as of today, looking at price charting, $670, which is absurd for any video game. If this was like a $40 game and you loved visual novels, then I guess I'd say go for it, but that's what this is. It's pretty much a visual novel with different options you can make. You can die later on by making wrong decisions or getting killed from a monster when you use the wrong weapon or something like that. But overall, it's very simplistic and easy. Most of the game is you selecting different conversations or different things to look at or do, sort of like Shadowgate and Shadowrun on the Super Nintendo, where if you select something, eventually it opens up another menu, and then you can use, or Rise of the Dragon, you can use those, not really those words, but you can then use different interactions at that point. You may look at something and pick up on something, and then in turn be able to figure something else out and use it or whatever. And the main point of the story is you're the legendary space pirate Cobra, and you are looking for these three women that have tattoos on their backs. They're triplets, and when you combine the pictures on their backs, it's the map to something. I don't want to spoil what that is in case for some reason you emulate it and play it, but you combine the maps and you're in like a race against time now with the bad guys to try and get what is at the location that the map points out. Some of the characters are pretty interesting. I liked some of the voice work and the animations. It looks very much like an old school, anime from the late 80s, early 90s, which is my favorite. Akira, Ghost in the Shell, Vampire Hunter D. The Space Adventure was its own anime. It's in full right now on YouTube, so if you want to watch that, I would recommend watching that probably over playing the game. It covers the story, but, it's not as slow. The game's about 7.5 hours roughly, but again, it's very slow. I could see why I stopped it over 10 years ago now. It's got to be, even if I was 20, that's 17 years ago. So it's many years ago. I know at one point I went back to it and I played like 15 minutes, 20 minutes of it, maybe even an hour at most, and then I stopped again. So it's been a long while. But I always wanted to beat it, especially because it is such a rare game that I feel most people don't get to play the original version of. So I really wanted to go back and beat it. Let me see if there's anything on the back. 1,500 stunningly rendered original animations, superb full motion graphics, port you to a future realm of mystery and intrigue. Blast away with a booming CD soundtrack that puts you right in the thick of things. Over 10 million Cobra comics sold in the United States and Japan. So I will say, the animation's really cool. I like some of the artwork and the characters, and the story was, pretty decent. It has some memorable bad guys. There was a good guy that helps you, that kicks the bucket, that I felt bad for. The main character's got that, cool demeanor. Nothing can hold him down, so it's fun playing as Cobra. The soundtrack is pretty good. It has some repetition to it. You'll hear the same beats a lot, or there was a lot of moments in the game where you're playing and there'll be like an alarm going off or a bomb's about to go off and you hear beeping, and the beeping just doesn't stop throughout whatever section you're at. So it could be like 10 minutes of just this beeping going on, which is very annoying. So there are some little things that could definitely be improved, but no one's going to go back and, I don't think, remake or remaster the Space Adventure on the Sega CD. So it kind of is what it is. But overall, I enjoyed the game. I think if you like slow visual novels with some options and some fighting that you can select what you want to do, but it doesn't really have a huge outcome usually. And if you do die, it puts you right back where you were, and you're able to just pick a different option. So there's really not that many ways to die. The very end of the game, a lot of people were getting stuck on many years ago. So maybe it's good that I waited, because I did watch a video about the last level. You're in a pyramid, and you have to use a map on your like wristband that has like a computer built in, and overlay the map on your wristband, and then walk that path. If you don't walk the exact path, you fall through the floor and die and have to start over again and again and again. And I could see people getting very frustrated by that. When I Googled it, Joe from GameSack had said in a forum like from 2007 that he was having trouble in the pyramid, and then he never beat it. I asked him on Twitter if he had beaten it, and he said, no, I never went back to it. So I could see it being very frustrating. So maybe it is good that I waited so long, because back when I played these games and they first came out and stuff, there were no walkthroughs, or they were very limited. I got the internet when I was like 13 or 14, and even then they were just starting out with text-based walkthroughs. I think Willie Beamish had one that helped me beat the game, but you know, it's definitely tough at that last level. The rest of the game is just a breeze, and you just selecting different options, and it can be a bit repetitive, you know, going through the options, and you select something, you have to select it again and again, and then finally something opens up. But just glad I got to beat it. It really made me happy to revisit this and beat it, and kind of made me think of a simpler time with gaming, you know? Because it's just, things have gotten so complex with playing online and all these different fees, and it's just very different than how it was. You know, I enjoy it. I enjoy gaming nowadays, but definitely had some nice nostalgia for me. So I was glad to finally beat this after however many years it's been. So let me know, guys, if you, for some reason, played the Space Adventure on Sega CD, or maybe you emulated it. Definitely not worth the asking price. Rise of the Dragon is better. Snatcher is better. There's lots of games that are better, but if you want to play a rare, kind of old look at a game, Space Adventure is pretty fun for a sort of text-based selecting, not text-based, but you know, adventure visual novel thing. Thanks, guys, for watching. It's Vampire Mike from Sega CD Universe. Be good.